All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. For those of you I haven't met before, my name is Erin O'Brien. I am a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria. And tonight I am bringing you this virtual cooking class with my team of consultants. I've got a couple of the consultants cooking with us tonight, but we're cooking on behalf of our whole team, which are consultants from all over Victoria. So thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we are bringing you our let's call it our annual Christmas virtual. So obviously, Christmas is very quickly approaching. I don't know that any of us are quite ready for it, but it's coming at a rate of knots. So we thought we would kick things off and get us started with some great recipes that you can prepare in the lead up to Christmas. You can gift some of them, enjoy on Christmas Day, and perhaps any of the kind of gatherings you are enjoying over the summer, the festive season. So we are going to get started straight away. I would love you to pop in the chat box and let us know where you're watching from tonight. And if you've got a Thermomix, what model do you have? Obviously, we are onto our TM7 now. And I know there are a few of you with TM7s watching tonight, and that is what we are going to be using to cook. But nearly all of these recipes can be used in any model Thermomix. So we'll talk about that as we're going. We'll share some hints and tips, share some other recipe ideas and things. But please, if you've got any questions at all, just pop them in the chat box. We, the three of us, will answer as we're going, but we do have a couple of our other consultants from our team in the chat box as well ready to answer any of your questions. So we're going to get straight into it tonight, and we are going to head on over and meet Jess.
Can you find me?
Oh yeah, you had your camera off for a second there.
I don't know why that happened. Sorry. Hello, everyone. So I'm Jess. I am Thermolife on the farm, and I'm based in Coniva, so up in Western Victoria. Tonight, I am making the festive camembert wreath. So I'll just show you here. I've got my home screen of the TM7, and I've popped the recipe in my week. So you'll see here it comes up on the screen here. So we'll go straight into that one. And here it is here. So like all the recipes on your TM6 and your TM7, you can actually scroll through and see all the ingredients. You can see all the method, and you can also see if there's any tips along the way. So we'll just go back up to the top and we'll go to start cooking. So in the bowl, we're just going to pop in the onion. Did I put that? I've got that here, so I've just got that cut into a couple of chunks. I have put more than I needed because I'm making a little bit of a change to the recipe, of course. That's my specialty. So we're just doing 2 seconds on speed 5. All right. So you'll see in there, it's chopped it up nicely. I am actually using red onion tonight for this. And because I couldn't get frozen cranberries today, and I'm using the doubling the dried cranberries, it did say to actually double the amount of onion. So that's why I have made that change. So we'll go next, and we're just going to pop in some butter. So what do we need here? We just need 50 grams of butter. It says salted butter. I'm sure you could use unsalted if that's what you would prefer. It really is just guided cooking. There we go. So I'm right on the 51 grams. So you'll see here, it actually will tick off the ingredient itself because I'm within about the 10% range for it. So we'll go up the lid on, and now we'll start the cook. So that's just going to saute the onion for 2 minutes. So I'd love to know, do you have a specialty Christmas dish that you make every year? I personally don't. I make something different every year, but I know there's a lot of people that do. So if you do, we'd love to pop it in the chat. Give us all some ideas of what we could make at Christmas time. Also, another tip that I love to do while I'm holding it here is when I buy a big block of butter, I like to cut it up into small chunks so it's ready for cooking in the Thermomix. I always find that every time you find a recipe, it always tells you to have to add the butter into chunks. And just to save time and dishes, I just cut it all up at once, and that's ready to go. So that's a hot tip um, if you need it. All right, you'll see here too with the TM7, the light behind is now glowing red. I'm not sure if you can see that too well with the camera. It was green before, but as the bowl heats up, it is now turning red, which is a really good indication of the fact that it's hot now. It's a great safety feature. Looks like there's a few things coming into the chat box. Oh, Malteser slice. That sounds delicious. Yeah, and Pavs. I know there's a lot of people that make Pav every year. That job's for my husband's nana. She brings Pav to Christmas every year. No one would take that off her, and I don't think anyone could make one as good. So, but yes, so I always make something different. I'm not into I change my mind too often. All right, that's got about 20 seconds to go. Now on the screen here too, a bit like the TM6, you can scroll through and see your next step. So if you are wanting, there's no preview button anymore, but you can just scroll through like this and see what your next step is going to be. So as I said, I have already gone through to the tips at the back because it is about to ask me here for some frozen cranberries. So I'll show you there, that's all nicely melted in there. Break that onion down. All right. So it is asking for dried cranberries. So we need 80 grams of that. We'll just turn the scales again. All right, so we've got the 84 grams within the 10%. It's going to tick itself off. Now it says now we need 80 grams of the frozen cranberries. Because I don't have any, I'm going to just add the same amount, just replace it with the dried cranberries again. And I'll actually cut back the amount of sugar that I'm about to put in as well. All right, so it's asking for 80 grams of sugar, but in the tips, it says to cut that back to 50 grams if we're doubling the dried cranberries. So I will just reduce that amount a little bit here. Go to 50, and it won't tick itself off because I'm not following the recipe exactly there. All right, so now we need 50 grams of port. We'll just pour some of that in. I did look up if you wanted to make this non-alcoholic, you could pop in just some cranberry juice or some grape juice as an alternative as well. So there are options. All right, I've gone a little bit over, so I won't tick it off. Now we've got a little bit of salt. Just says 1/4 teaspoon. I don't measure. Some ground black pepper. It's asking for 2 pinches. You will see here, which I think is really great. If it was a tablespoon or something like that and you wanted to measure it, you can actually hit that button there and you go straight to the scales, which is really great if you know how much you need to put in mils or grams. And then it's got fresh thyme. Didn't have any fresh thyme, but I do have some dried thyme. So I'm just going to put some of that in too. That's asking for 2 sprigs. So I'll just put a little bit of that in. I'll just guess a little bit because it's dried. I'll just put a couple of pinches. All right, and then we'll go next. And now this is just going to cook down for 10 minutes. So it'll just really nicely cook away and become our filling of our wreath. And just cook away here nicely. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so with this recipe, what's really great with this recipe is you can actually make some things in advance. So you could make this filling a day or 2 before, and you can also make the actual dough a couple of days before. If you're going to make the dough beforehand, you would just let it prove in the fridge overnight and then bring it out the morning of Christmas Day, if that's what you're taking it to, or whatever event you're going to, and let it come to room temperature. And then you'd go on and assemble the wreath like we're about to tonight. So it is really great for those. There's always other things going on around Christmas time. You need something you can make in advance. This is one where you can make the parts in advance and then assemble it on the morning of and then bake it, and it'll be perfect. So that is a really good option as well. But as I said, there was a few ingredients in here that I didn't have. I can sub them out. And if you don't have the frozen cranberries, dry cranberries, doubling the dried cranberries is going to be perfectly fine, like it says in the tips. So that is just cooking away there now. Did you want to go over to
let's go see Zoe and then we'll come back and see how it's going.
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. All right, now while Jess is hands free to do all the other things, because at Christmas we don't need to be standing stirring anything, do we? We are going to go over to meet Zoe.
Hello, Zoe. I live in Neil, which is Western Victoria as well. Yeah, I am Thermizzo on both Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, and today I am making candied almonds. These are a great little gift or to just have on the table on Christmas Day or any other Christmas functions. So this uses sugar stages, which is basically heated water and sugar to change the consistency and to make all sorts of different things. Yeah, sugar stages you can make like toffees, caramels, honeycomb, lots of different things. But today we're going to use that to make candied almond. So we'll get straight into that. Yeah, so the first screen here is just saying that it's very important to make sure that the quantity and the descriptions of the ingredients are exact or precise, just so that the sugar stages works. So yeah, we'll be making sure we do that today. Yeah, so the first thing we need is caster sugar. So I've measured it out just so I wasn't pouring straight out of the big container and putting way too much sugar in, because that always happens to me. But yeah, I'll just pop that in. That'll count up to 100 grams. All right, I need a few more grams, so I'll be back.
So the sugar stages mode is exclusive to the TM6 and the TM7. Zoe, we're having a little bit of issue with your audio. It just, I don't know whether the AirPods are just playing up as you move your head or something. They seem to be a little bit inconsistent. So yes, the TM6, the sugar stages mode is exclusive to the TM6 and the TM7. But like Zoe was saying, it is just the one thing I know we say all the time that guided cooking is just a guide and we can play around with it and change things to suit us and our likes and dislikes. But sugar stages is the one exception to that. Like Zoe was just saying, it does have to be spot on to work properly.
Thanks, Erin. Hopefully, do I sound okay now?
Oh, it's just kind of coming in and out a little bit. That's all. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we'll try that.
Perfect.
Does that sound okay?
Much better.
Yeah, very good. All right. So I've done the sugar. So now we're onto the water. So we just need 50 grams of water. So we'll pop that in. Again, being very careful to not go overboard. Look, we did put a couple of extra grams in there, but hopefully it'll be right. I'm willing to give it a go. Okay, so this step here is saying place the splash guard on top of the mixing bowl. For the TM7, there is no splash guard required. Just the way that they've made the lid, they've canned the whole splash guard idea. So it's very safe without the splash guard on in the TM7. So we will continue on. So yeah, we'll hit go. Does anyone use sugar stages at all in their Thermomix? What sort of things?
I feel like Christmas is the time of year that the sugar stages mode definitely gets a workout here.
What's that, Erin?
I said I feel like Christmas time is the real time of year that the sugar stages gets a workout here. With gifting things and honeycomb. I love to make some honeycomb around Christmas time. Last year I actually made some lollipops and put some cute little Christmas sprinkles on there for the kids to give their friends.
I'm just going to stop this. My bad. I thought it would be okay, but it's just the Thermomix has just come up with a warning that the quantities are too different in the bowl than what the recipe says, and that just is an alert to say that it's not going to work. So I am going to empty this and do that again. It's a fun little feature. Just bear with me, guys.
Oh, fine. You'd rather know it's only a bit of sugar and water. Got a bit heavy-handed on the water going in, which is, like I was saying before, the sugar stage is the one thing that we need to be accurate with. Or, the good thing about it, I suppose, is that your Thermomix is smart enough to let you know, so you're not wasting your time. That sugar and water is a couple of cents. You can just start that again rather than waste the time of the sugar stages hoping it will work. So those things you're going to do those same couple of steps just again to put that on. We will go back to Jess and see how her filling is going. And then can you just sing out when your sugar stages is nearly up and we'll come back for the next step. All right, let's go back and see Jess.
All right, so we're back again.
Can't hear me.
I don't think so, I heard you.
What was that? Oh, sorry.
No, you're right. I just said, since you're going to do the same steps again, we'll just go back to Jess.
Oh,
and you can quickly, because you're just going to put the sugar in the water, which we just watched in again. Yep. So that's so fine. We'll let you do that. Start the sugar stages, which we were just about to do, and then just sing out when it's nearly ready and we'll come back.
Yeah, easy. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, let's go back and see Jess.
All right, so mine has just under a minute to go. But what I will show you here is in one of the next steps, I need some bacon cut and cooked. So I've got my bacon here, and I actually did this in the browning mode this afternoon on the TM7. So I just chucked the bacon in. The browning mode you can now actually access off the screen without a recipe like you need with the TM6, which is really handy for something like this. So I only needed 130 grams of bacon. And you can just access the mode from the mode screens. And if you look, you probably can't see too well here, but up here in the corner here is the browning mode. And you can go straight in there and you can choose whether using intense or just the gentle. There's lots of information like with tips as to which one you should be using for what you're trying to do. And it was perfect too. That meant I didn't have to be standing over the stove watching the bacon brown. I was in the bathroom bathing the kids while this just looked after itself, which was exactly what I needed at the time. All right, so that's it finished. Oh, it's looking nice and purple in here. Looks beautiful. I'll show you. That's our filling in there if you can see it. So it's all nicely sort of cooked down. Now I'm just going to transfer that to a bowl.
So like Jess was saying, when you scroll down and you read the tips on this recipe, it does inform you of a couple of different changes you can make, like the dried cranberries for the frozen, but also about prepping ahead. So yeah, like Jess said, Christmas time, super chaotic. You don't need to be spending more time in the kitchen on the day than we need to. So this step, up until here, you can make and pop in the fridge, let it cool down, and then it's ready to assemble. This is just your filling. Then the next step Jess is going to do is the dough, and that's the same. Just you can pop it in the fridge for the night, and then you can come back. So do all this the night before, and then come back and finish.
I'm just giving it a really quick clean. Really quickly. Normally I would put that onto the pre-clean mode, but I'm not going to worry tonight. It's just really a rinse out.
Wouldn't matter whether a little bit of that filling flavouring through the dough might be delicious anyway.
Oh,
I'd be
I
tempted
reckon
to
it would
leave
be
it.
actually.
Yeah, the onions and the cranberries.
Except that I'm hoping to use the dough to make school snacks for the kids tomorrow.
Jess
They
has
may
got
not appreciate that.
pre-made dough to assemble with.
So that's our filling there, as you can see. I'll just put that to the side. So we've cleaned the mixing bowl now, a really quick clean, and it's perfect. So that was just a rinse out with water pretty much. And now we're going to go on and make the dough. So we'll pop in some water. So it's just a really basic pizza dough, which is nice and simple. We've got 220 grams of water. All right, now we've got some sugar. The sugar is usually always optional. It is good to put in there for the yeast to help activate the yeast. So I usually do always put it in. It's only a teaspoon. Doesn't make the dough sweet at all. And then the dried yeast. So just pop in 2 teaspoons of that. When you put the yeast in, always just make sure you don't put it on top of the blades. You don't want it getting caught on the blades and then not mixing into the dough properly. All right, so now we're just going to pop that on for 2 minutes just to warm it up to the 37 degrees. So this is also when you read in a lot of dough recipes and bread recipes, they'll talk about lukewarm water. If you're like me and you have no idea what that actually means, lukewarm water is 37 degrees. So quite a few recipes will then, if they don't ask for lukewarm water, will then come in here to do the heating up process. That just helps activate the yeast and get probably your best option. It's the best way for the bread to go to its full potential, I suppose. You'll see here, the bowl actually says it is at 37 degrees here because I was using water out of the kettle. It hadn't been boiled for a while, but it was obviously still a little bit warm. So I'll probably just stop it after a minute and I'll keep going. If your recipe doesn't have the warming up of the water, you can always, which is what I do a lot, is go back out and go to the warm-up mode, which is here. And then you can pop the warm-up mode to the 37 degrees and then go back into your recipe is always a really good tip as well if you are wanting to warm up your water. All right, so now that's at 37 degrees. We'll go on. I've got baker's flour. I make a lot of bread now, so I have buy baker's flour in bulk. So we need that up to 400 grams. All right, there we go. And then we need some olive oil. You'll find too, which I absolutely love, is every time you go to the next ingredient of your recipe, is the scales actually tear themselves. So if you've been like me in previous times, and I'm very good at continuing on my recipe without actually tearing the scales. So I love this feature. Again, a little bit more salt. I don't measure it. All right, and now we're going to use the dough mode. So we're just going to do 3 minutes in there. So key thing to remember with the dough mode is that when you're using the dough mode, your Thermomix needs you. So make sure you just don't move away from it. Just be in the kitchen. It's only 3 minutes to be in arm's reach of your Thermomix at the time. You'll just find that the way it's designed is to actually move around your bench while it's throwing the dough around. So it has the potential to move around on the feet a little bit. So you just don't want it to get too close to the edge. So this is going to, just go for the 3 minutes. And to put in perspective, 2 minutes in the Thermomix is the equivalent of about 20 minutes by hand. So this is going to be about half an hour's worth of hand kneading the dough. So it's a really good time saver for us to just use this.
While that's kneading, Jess, we might just head back over to Zoe and see where her dish is up to.
Hi guys. So there's about a minute left of this step here. We'll have to work quite quickly before it sets, so that it can coat the almonds properly. So in 40 seconds we'll do that. Sorry about the sound earlier, guys. Does anyone use sugar stages? Has anyone? Does anyone make honeycomb or anything?
Hey, Zoe, do you want to show us how you can scroll down a little bit to see the next step so you can have those ingredients on hand? Super, super easy. Like Jess was saying before, on the TM6, you could use the preview button, but now we can just scroll down so that we can have all those next few ingredients prepped and ready to go. Because like she said, when the sugar stages finishes, it's obviously very hot, very sticky, but also sets very quickly. So you do need to move really quickly. As I was doing there, I was scrolling down. Now, all right, so we've got onto the next step here. So we'll go next, and we want 200 grams of toasted almonds. I have toasted these earlier. They are ready to go. There. All right. And put the lid back on and press go. It definitely a good point, because we had to work quickly. It was good to use this function to see what the next steps were to do that. But yeah, you can scroll to read the whole recipe, which is fabulous. And any future steps, like if you want to skip a step, you can also do that too. So you just go find the step that you want, and then click these 3 little dots, and then go set as current step, and that will take you to that step as well. So we've done that, and this is what we are looking like. So beautifully coated almonds in that sugar, that caramel, I should say. And I'll just pop that, onto a plate. Has anyone made a recipe like this or anything similar? Little munchies for a gift, or like Zoe said, the table on Christmas Day. I love there's a recipe. It's actually from the recipe community. I'll pop it in the ebook when I finish that. But it's a honey roasted macadamias, and that is absolutely delicious too. And a lovely, lovely gift. You pop them in a little jar, but very much like this recipe. Anyone else made anything similar? Pop it in the chat box and let us know. They can be so expensive to buy, I find. The flavored nuts and different things. So
these, sorry, Erin.
No, you're right. Go.
These are the candied almonds, so they're lovely. They're quite warm at the moment, so we'll let those cool down.
The next step is to pop some water and some vinegar in here. So a little tip, there's some markers on the bowl here. So we need 1,000 grams of water, which is a litre of water. So you can, instead of pouring your water and using the scales, you can just fill your water up to the second marker on here. So they're in 500 ml increments. So just fill it up to the second marker, and then that's your 1,000 grams. So just do that.
Awesome. So yeah, the sugar stages mode does have a clean built into the recipe because, like we said before, really sticky, sets really hard really quickly. So the clean mode, which is the what does it say on the pre-clean? Anyway, it's one of the pre-clean options. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Browning
But
mode.
No, it's not the browning one. There's another one.
Isn't it? Oh, there's fats and caramels.
Fats and caramels, that's the one that you want to use for anything like this, but it is built into the recipe because it gets really hot, like heats the water up so that it cleans off those that really sticky sugar residue much easier than you trying to do it by hand. So Zoe's going to pop that on to clean, and we'll go back to Jess to assemble her wreath. Thanks, Zoe.
All right, so my Thermomix did move around, but I have just moved it out of the way. There is our dough perfectly done in there. Really nice and nicely done. I'm just going to put it to the side though, because there is one I prepared about an hour ago, and it is beautifully proved there. So we do have to set the dough aside for an hour. So this is where, like I was saying before, if you want to make it ahead of time, you would put that dough in the fridge, which is what I am going to do with that dough actually, and let it prove in the fridge overnight. And then I'll just make some scrolls or something with it, mini pizzas with it tomorrow, because I won't need 2 of these right now. Christmas time maybe, but not right now. All right, so I've just popped that down here on our beautiful dough mat. If you can kind of see it there. All right, now next step. So it says shape into a ball and place into a to prove. So we've done that. We're going to clean the mixing bowl again, preheat the oven, done that. Okay, and now we're going to line it on a put it on baking paper. So we're just going to divide it into 2 equal bits, and I'm just going to put the baking paper over the top of my mat. There is a bit of a method to my madness here, and I can still see the shape of the circle underneath, because now I need to make it, roll it out into a circle of about 30 centimeters. If I go to the outer edge here, I'm going to take it off the baking paper because it's going to go through. And that is way better to work with the dough. All right. And really quickly roll this out. Rolling dough out into perfect circles is definitely not my specialty, but we will go with it here. All right, so I'll pull that one. We'll put the paper back on there. Put that one to the side. And now we'll really quickly do the other one. Is anyone making any breads or doughs or anything in their Thermomix at the moment? I feel like I am constantly making bread dough or pizza dough all the time for lunch boxes, just for general eating. We made cheesy nut scrolls today for lunch just because we could. It was actually quicker and easier than going to the shops for bread. So we are always seem to be making something just so quick and easy. All right, so they're my 2 circles. Now we're going to put one aside, which I've already done, and we'll work with this one. So again, we'll do this, but now because we're actually about to use a knife, with this part of the process. I'm going to get rid of my dough mat altogether because you can't use a knife on your dough mat or you'll wreck it. So we will swap out for a chopping board. So there it is there. Ooh. All right, next we're going to put a whole wheel camembert cheese in the middle like this. So the great thing about this recipe is it's talking you through every single step. So anyone could do this because, disclaimer, I've never made this before. But here we go. All right, so now we're going to spread 3/4 of our beautiful filling all around the cheese. Spread this out. My filling is still a bit warm, even though it said to have it cooled, but it'll be fine. As we said, if you make it ahead of time, you won't have to even worry about that step. All right, so we'll spread that out fairly well around. Next step is, and so it does say to keep it just away from the edge of the wreath as well. We've got the pistachios to put on. So once shelled pistachios. So we'll sprinkle a few of these around. There's 30 grams, but I didn't actually measure that. I'll just wing it. I think that'll be enough. And then we need to also sprinkle on the bacon, which we had. So that's where I said before, it actually just says the fried bacon. There isn't actually a step to complete this in the recipe. So that's why you do need to make that bit ahead of time. Sprinkle that on. So it says 3/4 of that too. So I'll leave a little bit. All right, now we're going to get the other circle of bread. This is where the fun part happens. And now, place this one on top. Over like this. And we're going to pinch all the edges together. Got all the edges together. Oh, it's a bit of a wonky circle, that's okay. Looks homemade, that's fine. That's what the look we're going for. All right, now we're going to cut the dough directly on top of the camembert. So now we want to be able to open up where the camembert is. All right. All right. So it says to make a to form 8 triangles. So like that. I'm going to try and peel back along our cut lines like this to expose the camembert. A few wayward cranberries, but that's okay. All right, so you can see there, that is now exposed that. Now to make the sun's rays, we're going to use a sharp knife to cut the pizza into quarters up to the center, and then cut each quarter in half to create 8 sections. So,
Jess, I might get you just to do a section on camera and then the rest off.
I will. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
perfectly fine. Yeah. So I'll just do this little bit right here. So we're going to cut it into 8, which will be here, and then cut them in half again. So we get a total of 16 sections. Then what we're going to do, which I'll show you with these four right here, is we're going to twist each of these little sections 90 degrees. So I'm going to start turning them like this. Turn them like that, as you can see there. I'll lift it up to a bit higher. So we're starting to turn them. So we're starting to make the rays of the sun, so to speak, of our camembert pizza. So I will go ahead now and quickly keep doing the rest of it. And then all I need to do is brush it with an egg, a beaten egg, and pop it in the oven. So I will keep going and I will keep doing that, and I will see you guys at the end.
Do you want to just sing out when you've got it ready to go in the oven? We'll have a quick squiz.
Sure. Okay. Yep.
All
perfect.
right. Hi, everybody. Geez, put me on the clock tonight. I'm running out of time, but I am going to show you guys a really quick and easy, it's actually a trifle, but we're doing something a little bit different tonight. This one is a white chocolate and tropical trifle. So using some of our beautiful in-season pineapple and mango to create something just a little bit different. I think sometimes we get a bit heavy with our Christmas dessert. So this is something a bit fruity and nice for a little bit of change. So we are just going to get straight into it tonight. And it does start off by making a super quick little sponge. So the first step is to preheat the oven to 180 and then line a tin, which I have done already. I'll show you that in a second. And then we're going to pop our butterfly whiskey in. Our butterfly is the same for our TM7 as it is for other models. And then into there now, we're going to place 3 eggs. So I've just got them straight in there. Put them directly in. And tip that off. And then 100 grams of caster sugar. See this house from the side. And then a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a squeeze in there. And we're going to pop the lid on. Next again, and we're going to whip that. So 3 minutes on speed 4. We're going to hit start, and that's going to get us going straight away. I'm just going to show you. So I've lined these are the rose gold baking spring form baking cake tins from the Mix shop. This is the 20 centimetre one. It's a little bit smaller. That's what it did ask for, but there's 2 sizes. I think it's 20 and a 23 centimetre. So I've got that lined and ready. For those of you who haven't seen, there is a Mix shop Black Friday sale that started today. So there's 20% off store-wide with just a couple of exclusions, but not many. So you can get something like the rose gold bakeware or all of the other incredible things. I think, I don't know about you guys, but the Mix shop addiction is real for most of us in our team. We were already discussing today what everyone's buying. Let us know in the chat box if you've made any or bought anything in the sales so far. And yes, they've that the pizza, the camembert pizza wreath would work perfectly with brie as well. That's perfectly fine. So yes, we are whipping our egg white. Sorry, not egg white, just 4 eggs, sugar and vanilla. Yes.
Quickly butt in.
Just quickly.
Here is my wreath here, and I'm about to go pop it in the oven.
Amazing.
So
thank you.
It didn't take very long at all to whip up in the end.
No.
I'll show you what it looks like cooked.
Awesome, thank you.
No worries.
Pop it in the oven. So you can see there, like we were saying, you know, if you make those couple of elements the day before, or even a day or 2 before Christmas Day, the actual rolling out and assembling it is super quick and a lot easier, I think, than what you might think. I know I actually challenged Jess to make that one for tonight's class, and she was a bit shocked to start with. It looked a lot harder than what it was. So I think you can agree she's nailed it. So super easy with guided cooking. It just makes everything so much easier than what you might expect. So about a minute left on our whipping up here. Has anyone made their menu plan for Christmas yet, or had to think about what you're going to make this year? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. I haven't decided, like I said earlier, I love Pab. I often make Pab. I decided to make a different dessert for tonight's virtual. But I find Pab so easy to make in the Thermomix and successful every time. So I often make that, or a bit of a Pab braising table board. But yeah, let me know. What are you guys, what are you thinking for Christmas this year? Anyone got any ideas? I'm just going to get our flour ready. That's what's going to go in there next. So I'm going to hit next. Yeah, that's just aerated all that beautifully there. So now we are doing 100 grams of self-raising flour. Automatically ticking that off for us. So we're going to just hit next. And now I've just got 15 seconds on speed 2 to combine that. You won't even hear it on speed 2. Like you might have been able to hear it's a bit different, a bit hard with my headphones, but the because of the insulated casing on the TM7, it is a lot quieter. And the motor, apparently. I don't understand that to technicalities, but the motor and the insulated casing mean that it is a lot quieter than previous models, especially when you're at low speed. So speed 2 and below, you can hardly really hear. We're just going to give that a quick scrape down. So just pushing those ingredients back down towards the base. Leave that on, and then we're just going to give it another 5 seconds there. All right, that is it. That is our sponge mixture done. So you are going to pop that now. I'm just going to move my banner out of the way for a second. Into our springform tin. You just want to make sure that you're not overworking them when you're getting it out. So it doesn't need any more mixing. Just popping it straight into your springform tin, and you can see it's nice and thick. So we're going to pop that in the oven for about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. And then, here is one I prepared earlier. So you'll see in a minute, I have already cut it because the recipe, as we are assembling it, calls for it to be cut in half, but that is the sponge that has come out of the oven that was pre-prepared. But we're going to keep moving onto our next step now. Extension out of my way. So the next couple of steps are to pour it in the cake tin and bake for 10 to 12 minutes, remove it and set aside to cool, clean and dry your mixing bowl, and then cut that sponge in half and set aside. So into here now we are going to make a bit of a mousse. So we're going to place 160 grams of coconut milk. That's okay. And a teaspoon and a half of gelatin. The lid's back on and mix that. And so now we are going to heat that to dissolve the gelatin. So it's got 2 minutes, 50 degrees, speed 3. So we don't have to stand there stirring in some warm water to dissolve that. It's going to do it for us. While that's doing it, we might go back to Zoe quickly, who's going to really make a really quick mango daiquiri. And we'll just go between the two of us to finish off. We might run, I think, maybe 5 or 10 minutes over tonight, guys. I hope that is okay.
Hello. Yes. So on the menu now is a mango daiquiri. So um, oh, sorry, I've actually imported this recipe. I've changed the serving size, so it's actually created a new recipe for me with serving size of 3 people instead of 6 because I didn't think myself and my husband were going to drink 6 serves tonight. Yeah, so just really quickly pop some sugar in. So I'm going to put more like 20 grams of sugar in tonight. It says 20 to 30 grams of raw sugar to taste. So just going to go on the lower end of that. And then we're going to mill it. And because it's a created recipe, it looks slightly different. But yeah, this is a fun little function that Cookadoo does. All right, so that has milled the sugar there. We're seeing a little bit of a puff of sugar come up. So we've done that. All right, and I've got frozen mango, which I've just left thawing on the bench this afternoon. Just because the fresh mango didn't quite look ready. So we'll put 250 grams of frozen mango that has been thawed, which should be about half this packet. And then some ice. Oh, going everywhere. Done that. All right. So we'll just add in the rest of the ingredients. So we've got white rum. You can obviously adjust these to your taste a little bit as well. It will change the consistency a little bit. So if you prefer to not have white rum and have more Contro, that can definitely be done. Or whether you'd prefer vodka instead of white rum, sort of make it your own a little bit there. Does anybody else do cocktails on Christmas Day? My family generally do. Start the day with an espresso martini sometimes. All right. Leave these little lemons in. Okay, and that is all done. So That's what we're looking like. I'll pop one in the glass.
Zoe, while you're serving that up, I'm just going to keep going and then we'll come back and see it, have a look at it, if that's all right.
Yep,
Sorry, I'm just
absolutely.
conscious of the time.
You're
All right, so while you were over with Zoe, I did cheat and do an extra step. So if I scroll back, after we heated that gelatin, it was just adding some white chocolate pieces in and melting those for an extra minute. So I have done that. That's thickened up a little bit. So then if I go back to the current step there, we're going to add in 80 grams of cream cheese. Drop that cream cheese in there. Teeny bit more. Just going to sneak in those couple of white chocolate chips that jumped up the side in that last step while I'm there. And I'm going to tick that off, hit next, and then we're just going to combine that 20 seconds on speed 4. And then we'll make a trifle, like a standard trifle. There are a few different trifle recipes on this if you do, if you haven't already seen. I know there's the super popular one, which is a brown trifle. Which is really great reviews. I actually haven't made it myself, but I know quite a few people that have and love it. So if you're after something a little bit different, that is a good one. So then you're just going to transfer that to a large bowl and set aside. So I have got a couple of bowls here. These are a set of 3 from the mix shop as well. They are one of my favourite things. I have got some of the fruit in one of them as well already, but you can grab them from the mix shop on the sale too. Put that in there. And then we're setting that aside. And continue on. Without cleaning the mixing bowl, we are going to pop the butterfly whisk back on. Next, into there we're going to place 450 grams of thickened cream. And then a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste again. A bit like Jess, not a big measurer, just throw it all in. All right, so we're going to whip that for about 3 minutes. So when you're whipping cream, it is really important to see, you probably can't read it on the screen there, but it does say until soft peaks form, stopping time to check and avoid over whipping. So obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but many of us know that when we're whipping cream, if we whip it too far, it turns into butter. So which is not what we want. So because we don't have the same hole in the mixing bowl lid as we had with previous models, we do just have to stop it occasionally just to have a quick squeeze at it and make sure we're not over whipping it. You can hear as well, like the thickness of it. But I will show you there. We're not, it's still like a liquid there. It's starting to aerate, but not whipped cream consistency just yet. So even though you don't have those automatic locking arms that we had on the other models, it does have an automatic lid sensor. So whereas before, you know, we had to lock in, and then if you didn't have the lid on or it wasn't on right, then it would stop and let you know. This time it will automatically sense that you don't have the lid on, which was why it was not letting me even press the play button, because from my angle I thought it was on and it wasn't. The other thing the automatic lid sensor does is tears the scales as well. So it's one of my favorite things that I didn't know I needed in my life, but not having to tear the scales every time I'm cooking a recipe is the best. I'm just going to check that again. Getting there. How's your wreath looking in the oven, Jess? Is it nearly done? So this is the other
Yep,
the
nearly
little
done.
little bowl from the mix shop set that I was telling you about. So there's a big one, a medium, and a small. So you can grab those in the sale as well. Like I was saying, they're super handy. Nearly there. Can really hear it. Like you can't hear it obviously because I've got my headphones in, but I can really hear it thickening up now. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. So it really just depends on the freshness of your cream. The freshness of your cream and like the fat content and all that kind of thing as to how long it takes to whip up cream in your Thermomix. So yeah, it can turn to butter really quickly, so you do have to be careful. Perfect. All right, so now we are going to hit next. That's telling us to remove the butterfly, whisk, and then gently fold it into the cream cheese mixture. So I'm going to get on and do our syrup, and then I'll fold that in while it's cooking. And then that's all the components, and we'll just quickly assemble. So it says clean and dry the mixing bowl. I'm just going to do a quick switch. And then we're going to place in 50 grams of water. Taking that off, 50 grams of caster sugar. And then the pulp of one fresh passion fruit. I am cheating tonight and just using tinned passion fruit. I'm just going to pop that pulp in there. Straining it off a little bit so it's not too liquidy. Next. So then we're just going to cook that down. So 4 minutes, 100 speed 2 to just make that syrup. Back down that out of the way and just show you. So that was that white chocolate mixture. Brain's starting to fade. We're just going to gently fold in the cream into that. That cream needs a little bit more, so I'm going to use my second Thermomix to do that off camera. But what we'll do while I'm doing that, we'll go and see Zoe, who will finish plating up showing us her mango daiquiri and her almonds again, and then we'll finish up.
Yeah, so this is the mango daiquiri. So this is 3 serves, but I've just popped it in 2 glasses. And it's delicious. I had a sneaky little taste test. And these are the candied almonds. Yeah, so like I was saying, great little gift, great little snacky to have on the table at any of your little Christmas events as well. Yeah, so that's me done tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zoe. I don't know if you can hear my Thermomix going off there, but it's because I set a timer. We have the ability to set a timer on your TM6 and your TM7. And I set a timer so that my screen doesn't time off when I'm waiting to cook and you have to stand there waiting for me to finish. So there we go. I just added a few more seconds and that is perfectly lit this time. I'm going to add in that. Because your Thermomix automatically switches off after 15 minutes of being idle, which I'm sure you all know. Yeah, so it could be a little bit of a nuisance when you're running virtual demos, to be honest. It's probably the only time. But setting a timer to keep the screen on helps. Right, so I'm just folding that into that white chocolate mixture. So We've got about a minute left. How's your wreath going, Jess? Is that out of the oven or not quite?
Yep, I can show mine if you want to swap me
yeah,
over.
do that, and then I'll assemble when we're done.
All right, so mine is out of the oven, and oh, I better turn my camera a little bit because I can't, it'll fall on the floor otherwise. There we go. It is all made there. So as we had said before, I've never made this before, and I'm actually pretty impressed with how it turned out. So it is quite easy. It takes you, the recipe guides you through every single step. And yeah, this will be perfect for the centerpiece of Christmas lunch, or a bring a plate. If you have to, if you're going to any events where you could bring a plate, that would be perfect for nibbles. There was a question about being the camembert wreath, if you could use brie in the middle, and I realised when I took the packaging off that that's what I bought anyway. So yes, you can use brie. I've decided it's worked perfectly. So that is our wreath. I was also sitting here too, thinking of like different ways you could mix up the filling as well. So I'm sure you could come up with some other ideas if the cranberry wasn't really what you were liking. But that is another really easy way of making something ahead of time that you can have ready to just pull out of the oven on Christmas morning. It took about 15 minutes and it was done. So really handy. How's yours going now, Erin? Nearly there?
Yeah, sorry, I went away to get
No,
something
you're
just
right.
as you finished talking.
That is fine. Always happens.
All right, we are finished our cooking, so we're going to assemble all of this. So we've got a couple of different components. As you know, we've got that white chocolate mousse, we've got the sponge, we've got another, now we've got a passion fruit syrup as well. So now we're just going to assemble it. And like Jess says, our Thermomix is going to walk us through all of those steps, so we're going to nail it. That does tell us to combine half of the mangoes, pineapple pieces, and the pulp of passion fruit in a bowl, which I have already done there. Jess can pop in the chat box the name of the recipe for you there. So now it's just telling us to spoon, spoon a third of the mousse mixture into our trifle bowl. So that's not really a trifle bowl tonight, but that's okay. So we're just going to add that into the bottom there. And then next we are going to top with one sponge. Oh, where did I put that? So like I said, we've cut that sponge in half, so we're going to pop that in there. And then we're going to drizzle that with half of the passion fruit syrup that we just made. I'm not going to tip that up because I'm just going to tip it everywhere if I do that, but you can see as I drizzle it out, you'll be able to see the syrup there. Just coating the sponge in that. And then top with half of the mixed fruit. So we're just going to pop half of that around. Is this something you guys think that you would try? Is everyone else loving the mangoes and seasonal fruit starting to make an appearance? It's a slow appearance, but it's good. We're getting there, aren't we? So now we're just going to continue. So the second third of that mousse mixture. Now other piece of sponge. The rest of our, sorry, I should be turning it the other way. We're going a bit hard on the first layer, but that's okay. The rest of our fruit. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of doing that forward for you guys. There is, my fruit has been sitting there a little while, so there is a bit of extra juice in there, so that will work well. That I went a bit heavy on the syrup on the first layer. And then we are going to finish off with the mousse layer as well. And then we're just going to hit next, and now it's telling us to reserve some mango and passion fruit to put on the top as you are serving it on Christmas Day or whenever you're having it. I'm just going to do it now. And then it does tell us the last step is just to whip a little bit more cream to put on the top. So normally you would put this in the oven, don't put it in the oven, in the fridge for at least an hour to set in properly. And then you can top it with a bit more cream. Because remember, that's just a mousse. That's not a cream that looks like a cream on top of that. And then top it with a little bit more fresh fruit. But that is it. That is our trifle done. That's something that you guys think that you would make? Pop in the chat box and let us know. What have you been inspired with a new recipe to try this Christmas tonight? What are you going to make? Pop it in and let us know. With a little bit of passion fruit. Sorry, I ran a little bit over tonight, but hopefully it's been worth it and you've learned something new. New recipe ideas. So I am going to make a Christmas ebook to send out to you guys in the next day or two. I'll include all of the recipe links for tonight. There we go, there it's our trifle. All the recipe links for tonight and some of our team favourites as well. So I've been asking all of the consultants in our team to share some of their favourite Christmas recipes, some of their favourite hints and tips. So as a way of giving back to you guys for your support throughout the year, we will be sending that through to you in the next couple of days. So please keep an eye on your emails for that. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. This will probably be our last class for 2025. So thank you so much for all of your support throughout the year. We hope that you have enjoyed our virtuals. We hope that you are able to learn something new to get the most out of your Thermomix this year. But thank you again. We really do appreciate your support. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Stay safe and we will see you again next year. Thank you so much, everyone. You are very welcome. Thank you.